Tomorrow, if I woke up and I suddenly lost my condo, my routine, my YouTube channel, and I had to start my life all over again overseas in 2026, I thought to myself, what would I do? Would have I done the same things over again, or would have I changed some things along the way? And after more than 10 years living here now in Southeast Asia, I've made plenty of mistakes, but I've also learned what works. So today I'm going to kind of walk you through exactly what I would do if I had to start all over again in 2026.
Southeast Asia calling me instead. Bangkok nights and Bali shores. Sick of dreaming, want something more. Pack your bags, don't hesitate. Gio, let's go before it's too late.
Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I appreciate you guys watching, tuning in at my favorite little coffee shop here. And yeah, I was just kind of thinking about this the other day, and I was like, well, what would I do? What would be different? And I guess the first thing is I wouldn't buy a one-way ticket like I did before. I probably would have held off. It sounds romantic, but honestly, it's not really smart. I think I would book a return ticket, or at least maybe 3 months, 6 months out, something like that. And I would definitely leave myself an escape plan. Not that I have any regrets of living over here in Southeast Asia, I don't. But it probably would have been a smarter route to go instead of selling my car, maybe taking a leave of absence, or maybe just putting my stuff into storage. And, I think knowing that you could leave kind of relieves a tremendous amount of pressure. And I think I would have been a little bit more comfortable, like as in when I got here, it was more like, this has to work out. I've already sold my car. I've already gave up my job. I've already sold my possessions. Everything is gone. It's over with. It's starting over here in Southeast Asia. But yeah, that would have been different. But yeah, that probably would have been something that I would have done. I had done a 1-month trip to Davao in 2015. I did a 1-month trip to Bangkok in early 2016, but I never ever did any real trial run. I was always in tourist mode. I stayed in hotels, did all the tourist activities. I never really got into the rhythm of like I was living there. And so that would be the first thing that I would do over if I had to start over in 2026. And I think number 2 is I probably would have started over in Thailand. Thailand probably would have been my first choice. Not that it's the cheapest, not that it's the most perfect, but I think it's kind of the easiest for me. I think it would have been an easier transition with the infrastructure, the brownouts, the out of stock, the way things work. I just think it would have been an easier transition. Now, for a lot of people might argue that and say the Philippines is an easier transition because of the English. And that can be partly true. I mean, for sure, the English helps a lot. But the excellent infrastructure, the reliable transportation, easy domestic travel, because it's not an archipelago, so you're not like having to take ferries to here and then a trike over here and then another flight over here, and then it's just the Philippines can be challenging when you're traveling. No fault of the Philippines. I mean, it's an archipelago. That's just the way things are. But I think I would probably at least spend at least 60 or 90 days here before kind of figuring out where do I want to go next, or at least kind of making this a temporary home base. Or even perhaps I wouldn't have even made a home base right away. I would have just did 60 to 90 days in each different country, really, before kind of figuring things out. And, well, as a lot of you know, I took a job in the Philippines, so that was kind of a deciding factor. But I didn't necessarily have to take that job. I could have done my teaching online. At that point, I wasn't doing YouTube. That's probably something, to be honest, I probably wouldn't have done YouTube again. You lose your personal life. You really do. You put it all out there, and I accept it. That's something I put myself out there. And but if you want to do YouTube, really think about it. You lose your privacy. You really do, and you open yourself up to every person out there. So that's something you really need to think about if you plan on doing YouTube. And then I think the third thing is I probably would have rented a very inexpensive apartment, but comfortable. Nothing, I'm just talking cockroaches running around or water not working or no water pressure or things like that. It has to be comfortable, but probably would have been one of the most inexpensive places I could find. No luxury condo, no long lease, maybe a month to month or maybe 3 months, something like that. Again, month to month if possible. And my goal wouldn't really be to impress anyone. It'd be simply just to buy myself some flexibility so I can really be more able to kind of bounce around and just pack up and go. Yeah, so that is one thing. I had, when I got to Cebu, I pretty much, after I think 5 days in a hotel, I went right into a long lease. And ended up breaking that lease, losing my deposit, and moving to a different location because it wasn't exactly what I wanted. But I was rushed, and I went into a nice condo and ended up losing the deposit in the process. So, yeah, that's something I would really be careful about. Airbnbs can work great for that as well. And by the way, if you are coming out here, traveling or moving, go to GIOINTHEGO.net. Click on my Geo Travel Essentials and just pick up all the gear that I highly recommend for living or traveling out here in Southeast Asia, or honestly anywhere for that matter. This is stuff that I personally use, that I've tested, and that I like the best. And I think step number 4 for me would be I would build a routine before I build a social life. And I think most people do the opposite. Most people, I swear, most people, at least for sure in the Philippines, they move because of a girl, or they get into a relationship and that dictates where they're going to live. Me, I would start my gym. I would start my gym routine, coffee shop, walking, healthy eating, work schedule, things that I like to do, snorkeling, maybe going to the driving range, bowling, whatever. I would get my routine in place and make sure this is the place that I really want to be. Then I would start my social life, finding friends, finding a girlfriend, things like that. I think when your daily life feels stable, I think everything else becomes easier. Everything else follows. And because too many times I really moved because of a girl or something like that. And a lot of people do the same thing. And you don't really get comfortable into a routine, and it's maybe not even the place that you like. So that would be one thing I would do, absolutely. And number 5, I wouldn't date right away. Now, when I came to the Philippines, I had already been chatting with a girl, and it was almost like instant relationship, instant girlfriend, no waiting required. It was like, boom, I got off the plane. I literally met her the next day, and we were in a relationship. Now, that can be fantastic for people who are coming out and have limited time. I mean, you're literally into a relationship so quickly in the Philippines. But this is one of the biggest mistakes that I see people make, including myself. I had made it too. People land, they meet someone, often right at the airport, and it changes all their plans. And all of a sudden, the relationship is dictating your next moves, your next steps, your plans, your social life, your routine, everything. But I would wait. I would learn the country first. And if I had eventually met someone, fantastic, great. But I wouldn't let a relationship determine where I live. Too many times, I've said this over and over, find the place that you love, then find the girl. And even if she's, okay, for example, you love living in Dumaguete or Bangkok, then you find a girl. Now, if she's in a different location, you need to ask her up front, are you willing to move for this relationship if we hit things off? If she's not, then you're not really going to want to start into a relationship like that, because too many guys end up way off in the province at some place that's just going to make them miserable. Find the location you love, then look for the relationship. You'll be much, much happier, trust me. And then step number 6 for me, I think I'd spend more time exploring than research. Now, listen, trust me, I really appreciate you guys watching my videos and learning all you can. I try as hard as I can to give you as much information as I can possibly give you. But the truth of the matter is you need to be here and you need to explore on your own. I can tell you 1,000 times over how much I love Bangkok. And it may look good on video for you, but when you land here in Bangkok and you start to explore, you may say, this heat is oppressive, I can't stand it. The language barrier is too much, I don't like it. And it may not be for you. Just because it's for me and I like it, does not mean you'll like it. And you're not gonna learn that from a video. Same with vice versa. A lot of people, I've seen so many videos where they've said, oh, this place is horrible, and I've gotten there and I've loved it. So I don't put a lot of stock into that anymore. Get as much information as you can deem from the video or the vlogger or the article or whatever. But you gotta explore yourself and make your own decisions. YouTube can only tell you so much. The best information comes from actually being here. Weekend trips, different neighborhoods, different cities. I like I said, when I came to Bangkok, I stayed in different neighborhoods, 3 nights, all over Bangkok. And it kind of helped me determine that this is the area that I wanted to be in. And sometimes the place you never considered ends up being your favorite place. And number 7, I protect my money. 1 local account, couple US accounts, multiple debit cards, multiple credit cards, a Wise account, emergency cash, no keeping everything in one place. And I've learned that redundancy is peace of mind. So don't be like me, don't be like others who come with 1 card or they carry everything in 1 wallet and it gets lost or stolen or whatever and they're screwed. Don't do that. Be as well prepared as you can financially, whether it just be, emergency funds, couple of banks, couple of credit cards. Just make sure you're really set up well. And then step number 8, I would keep America open. And you can replace America with Australia, the UK, whatever. But I think a lot of people, I guess, think that when you move overseas, that means you're cutting ties with your home country. And I would have kept a mailing address, which I have now, but right from the very beginning, I would have had that. Maintain my credit, maintain the US phone number, keep my banking relationships and my credit cards. You never know what you will need down the line years from now, or if you ever have to move back. Keep as tied to your home country as possible, just in case. And then step number 9, I think I would stop looking for the perfect country. It doesn't exist. I have learned now, 10 years in Southeast Asia, there is not a perfect country. Whether it was Kenya, Thailand, Vietnam, Malaysia, the Philippines, it doesn't exist. There's no perfect country. I love the Philippines for their kindness, their great smiles, they're so fun, the English ability. But I don't like a lot of other things. But here in Thailand, I love the infrastructure, the food, convenience, all those things. But the English barrier is a factor. So there's not one country that is going to answer everything you're looking for. There's a country that will get you as close as possible. But Thailand has problems. The Philippines has problems. Vietnam has problems. America has problems. So instead of asking which country is perfect, I think I would rephrase that and ask which country's problems can I live with? Which ones can I live with that are not going to make me crazy, that are okay for me? And I think that question kind of changed everything for me on how I look at things too. And then the very last one is I think I would move slower in all different regards. And I think this is probably the biggest lesson that I have learned. You don't have to figure out the rest of your life in 3 months. It's not going to happen. And, you know, just because you're in your 50s or 60s doesn't mean you have to have your whole life figured out already. A lot of people go right to the very end and they don't really have their life figured out. And I've learned that's okay. It's okay to change countries. It's okay to change cities. And it's definitely okay to change your mind. I've done it a dozen times. If you've watched my channels over the years, I've changed my mind on several things. And then that is okay. It's normal. I think moving overseas isn't just one decision. I think it's a series of decisions. So just kind of give yourself permission to adjust along the way and you'll do just fine. So again, if I could go back and talk to the version of myself that was getting ready to move overseas 10 years ago, I think this is exactly what I would have told myself. Not because they are the right answers, but because they are the lessons that I've learned over my 10 years living overseas. And I think they will save you some money and some frustration on your journey as you move overseas or even just traveling. So let me know down in the comments, guys, if you had to start your life over tomorrow, where would you start? Where would you go first? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your plan. And again, all the travel gear I highly recommend for living or traveling overseas, GIOINTHEGO.net. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the thumbs up, hit the bell notification so you're notified every time I come out with a new video or live stream. And I will see everyone on the next video. I'm going to finish my cappuccino. Ciao.
Pack your bags, don't hesitate. Gio, let's go before it's too late. Time keeps slipping away from us. Keep living like this. Away from us, away from us. Gio, let's go.